The article, Muslims are grateful Glenn Saffer has publicly condemned and distanced himself from harmful conspiracy, blah, blah, which was peddled by James Goddard and others, conspiracy theory, the death of 3 teenage boys in Ayers, blah, 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 by a drink driver with Hindu name, Jaynesh Chudasama. Now, straight away, I want to know whether that were Indian or anything, me, because I wouldn't have had to do some research into it. Anybody who reads up about the case will realise within minutes it was not a terrorist attack, never mind a Muslim terrorist attack. We're not saying that. There is a big injustice done. And it wasn't Tracy who was throwing out the terrorist attack thing. It was other people. Just get that on you. Get
always spoke. So quite early on, we knew things wasn't adding up because they was trying to say it was just an accident, just a dangerous driver, and that's what this was. When in fact, throughout the whole investigation, there was nothing that ever pointed to this being an accident.
So it was an Islamic attack, and they just kind of wanted to cover it up because there's been too many Islamic attacks, so they just decided to cover this one up.
It's not just our one. You know, we've done a lot of research since, and we do believe these were 2 extremists that done this. That's what we would believe at the moment, because we haven't been shown or found anything other than that fact. But since researching, we have realised that it's not just us. It's not just us that this has happened to. We've done our own research, and we found out since at least 2010 in this country, cars, vans and buses have been mounting pavements, you know, and mowing into people. It's not just us. We thought it was, you know, back in January, you know, or early February, I should say, that...
Hello? Right, yeah, I'm going to move on from what Tracy said. I'm just going to read out a few cities. Moscow, Malmo, Paris, San Bernardino, New York City. You have the mass rape in Cologne. Holland, Chelsea Wright. Thousands of girls raped in this country. The police have facilitated it by covering it up. They stand over there watching everything that we're saying, looking for an excuse to arrest us. Well, I'm here today to tell you, like I tell everyone each and every time, you ain't never going to silence this message, because we, the British people, are not standing for our kids being blown up. We're not standing for them being raped, and we're not going to be silenced by Stasi-style police forces acting under the orders of satanic paedophiles. Josh, George and Harry were murdered by terrorists. The reason they're telling us they're not terrorists is because it's a cover-up. How many more children have to lose their lives before we do something? And believe me, we are doing something. We are on the verge of greatness in this country. They are not going to keep silencing us.
On you. But this talking to Tracy, she sent me a picture of the copy of the crash report. Yeah. So remember, in here it says terrorist attack, Hindu driver, drink driving and speeding, thus lost control of the vehicle and tragically crashed into 3 pedestrians. Now just let me. I think this is a crash vehicle, the crash report. This. There was no physical evidence to indicate the Audi ran along the curb or lost control at this point, where the driver hit the 3 boys, Josh, George and Harry. And the next chapter says that there were certain things would happen and did know if that happened. So the crash report states it never lost control. And that is a bona fide document that. What I'm going to do though is delete everything that Tracy just sent me, because there's some stuff on there that shouldn't be coming out yet because there's a documentary, and I just want to focus today on this. I can wait for the documentary, so I will delete them items in a minute. But so the crash report states that he didn't lose control, but everybody else, every other article you ever see about that case said he lost control. If you want to know, that the crash documentation wasn't even handed in as evidence. They omitted that when the guy went up. They omitted that when the guy went up. So that tells me there's a conspiracy and a cover-up. So that's all I need to know. And obviously, I'm gonna go on a rant, and I will. I'm sort of like telling people that the comeuppance is coming, because when the documentary comes out, all this evidence will be out for everyone to see, bona fide evidence and everything to see. And a lot of people who went against Tracy are going to be shamed. Did not stop folks like a recent associate of Jim Dawson, James Goddard, to use it. I'll tell you what, James isn't a Jim Dawson associate. Oh my God, honestly, the stuff they write on here is just unbelievable. Peddled an anti-Muslim conspiracy theory, blah, blah. Glenn Safford's public denouncing this conspiracy feelings falsehood. It's important folks within the DFLA, the Britain First Atomic circles make their voices heard, as those circles are echo chambers where facts and fairness go out the window. We're not interested, right? The fact is that evidence has been withheld. Doesn't matter. With my plain eyes, I can see we've got issues. Chudasama applied his brakes. Why would a terrorist apply brakes? Why are you going on about terrorist? It's nothing to do with that. You're deflecting it so that we don't see that there is something other issue. And I believe it was an injustice. Don't matter who done it. So why aren't you backing us up on his injustice? Because you don't believe, you're making out that it was an accident, but it wasn't.